Are you struggling to make content that rocks? Well, I did too, and I made this crazy video without knocking myself into a tree with this crazy background on how to actually fix this. So I was actually asked to speak at a 7-figure entrepreneur event. It was a paid event, and one of the questions that came up that I was told the answer that I had was impactful for many of them was around the concept of content. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex Hormozi. I own acquisition.com. It's a portfolio of companies that's about $85 million a year. All right, so this is an excerpt of the video of me answering that question. If you're struggling to make content, enjoy this. What is the best way to create content?
I know it's not specific enough. Oh, I'm not the best typer. So like, I really love what you guys are putting out right now. Seriously, straight fire. Both of you guys, like, kudos. And maybe I'm just stuck in kind of like my head, but I'm having difficulty like just putting it out there. Like, I know I could talk for hours on any topic, fitness, business, life, whatever. And I do it with my friends consistently all day. Then I get in front and I'm like, what the fuck do I make? Excuse the language. I'm like, what do I make? How do I structure this? How should I say this? And then I go, that's what happens. So I've done it, and I'm not sure if it's just like I've done it so much now that I also I'm looking more so on from my end to like work with people who want to perform better, who don't just want to lose a little bit of weight, who like really want to be, legit better version of themselves. I know that's probably used consistently across the fitness industry, but like that's genuinely what I want to help people do. I want them to help like hit that potential because that's what I like doing for myself. So that's my like question there.
I can speak to, like, I probably struggle more with content creation than Alex hasn't in a while now. So maybe I could talk about that before. Because like Alex creates better content than me. Like, I think that he's been doing this for like fucking 8 years. I started like 6 months ago. And every time I'm like, dude, I look like shit. I feel like shit. This is terrible. It's awful. That's all I say. Like, I'm like, look, everyone hates me. Like, for sure, they're bad. What Alex says, like, I observe Alex, and a lot of times, like, I'll literally take notes on his videos and deconstruct what he's doing because I think he's really good at it, right? And I'll watch him while he's creating. And I've sat there when he's come up with videos. And there's two things that I've identified that help me a lot, which is one, Alex is really sure about who he's talking to, and he knows it every time he's talking. Okay, that's the first thing. So then when I'm talking, I'm like, who am I talking to? And a lot of the times, the things that probably inspire you, Prince, are like about the clients. So like a lot of the times, when I just made like a really good piece of content the other day because I got off the phone with a company that we have we're invested with, and I was like, I had this epiphany on the phone with them, and I was ranting, and then I just got and went and made the content. And I see Alex do it all the time. He's like, I got it. I got to go make it now. And I think it's really hard because like I never believed Alex in the beginning where he's like, no, you just got to like catch it. When you get it, you got to go like make like 6 videos. And I was like, dude, no, I like organize my whole schedule. I set time aside. I need to film now. But it's almost like a self-inflicted pressure when you like set that time sometimes. And then you just start getting in your head. You're like, I must make 5 pieces of content right now. And I'm not. So I must fucking suck. Right. And instead, it's just like you're just not in the zone because creativity doesn't like constraints. So it's like you have to catch, like when the creativity is there, when you're less constrained and you're more free flowing, I think that's when things come most naturally. That plus knowing who you're talking to. And then the other thing I'll say is, I don't think that you should make content on anything you don't want to make content on, which I've heard Alex say a million times because I ask him for advice on it a lot right now. That's why I feel like I can say this to you because I've been asking Alex a lot of questions. And he's like, dude, don't talk about anything you don't want to talk about. And sometimes make the content that you want to make, even though you're not sure it will hit. Like there are certain videos that I've made like on how to run a great meeting. And my YouTube guy is like, dude, nobody gives a fuck. And I was like, I don't care. I need to make this video. Like for me, I know it's fucking important, right? And so I think it's allowing yourself to just do whatever the fuck you want kind of makes it better. And you hear Alex's videos, he's like, dude, I'm not making this for you guys. And he's serious. He's making it for himself. And so I think, I observe that and I'm like, that's how I feel like, I mean, Alex, I'm just speaking for you, but I feel like that's how you've been able to continue to make content as your wife who watches you and sees you do it all the time. It's like you make a lot for yourself. You make a lot for the people that you know who they are and who you're talking to. And if you don't feel like making it, you don't do it.
I make videos for really only one of 2 reasons. One is because I want to document a thought process. So that means it's for me, or it's fresh off of some sort of conversation I had with, a client, employee, or one of the, the business owners that we're invested in. And so I'm basically making it for them and I just make it anonymous. And usually I'm very passionate about the topic, which is why I want to make the video. But I heard this from Grant Cardone, and when we were talking about his content strategy, and he said, you just got to make shit and you have to assume no one will see it. Like the assumption is zero, and then just make all your content from that perspective. Because the thing is like you guys have heard me say this, but like the work works on you more than you work on it. And doing the content is a long play. It's a super, super long play. And unfortunately, it takes a long time to be good for two reasons. One is that you actually have to be good at doing it, which you will get better with repetition. And the second is that people don't care about you until you've done something. Like if I tweeted the same shit Elon Musk tweets, no one would care. But it's Elon Musk, and so he's the richest man in the world. And if he just does a poop emoji, it gets shared, 500,000 times. It's not because of the message, it's because of the messenger. And the messenger is a big part of the message. Part of the reason the content doesn't hit, even if it's really wonderful content, is because people are like, why should I listen to you? And if you don't have a genuine answer for that, then they won't have one either. My views on content have shifted dramatically over time. But I think the reason that the content that I have now hits is because like we've made a lot of fucking money and people are like, wow, that's impressive. When I started, I wasn't as big on content because honestly, it was like, I just don't think anyone was going to give a shit, and they probably weren't. And so like, I'm just adding those as quick caveats, but for you specifically, what you don't want to do is start talking like everyone else, right? Don't talk about when they should time their carbs. Don't talk about how they should be splitting up, like no one cares. If you're talking to your specific avatar, then the types of things that you should be making should be relevant to that specific avatar, which oftentimes will be different than what everyone else is talking about. And it'll be unique to you. That's kind of my big picture stuff on content creation. But I put 2 notes in there, which is like, do it when it's fresh and do it when you feel emotions. Those have been like kind of 2 of my mainstays for making content.
I often feel the way that what you've talked about is like I haven't done shit yet. Like I like why you're right. Like so I'm almost in that same point with business, and I feel with being online, the difference between being in gym and being online is, online is the same. I think working with an online coach is the same thing. Is like, why should I work with you? What have you done? Right. So that's kind of my next follow-up question. It's actually segues. Is it cool if I ask that real quick? What is the best way to generate those type of leads when, you haven't done shit? Like I had the gym.
You have done shit. Well, the thing is okay, I think this is a good caveat for everyone. Everyone here has done shit, but not everyone here has done shit that they want to talk about. So this is the classic example of the dudes who are talking about how to make passive income online, make 10 grand a month, and they've never fucking made 10 grand a month, and they're talking about how to manipulate the stock market, and their stock portfolio is 100 grand. Like, who gives a shit, right? Like, you're not Warren Buffett, right? But the thing is that you are an expert at some things, and you should just stick to only talking about that stuff. If the source of your content, this is fucking big. If the source of your content is other people's content, don't make it. What makes content interesting is the unique anecdotes that you have experienced and gone through, which add value. And this is kind of a big issue in general with the content creation world, is that people are making content because it's easy to make content and because they have an alternative agenda. The content that hits is content that is made for its own sake, as with the intention of adding to the body of knowledge on a specific subject matter. And so if you have been working with clients and you're like, this is something that's worked really well for the guys that I have. I only have 7 clients, but like, this has worked really well. I hope it works well for you. You say that, you have domain expertise in those 7 clients, and no one can question you there. Now, if you start talking about science and you don't fucking know anything about science, but you read it on Mike Israetella or you read it from Dr. Kashi, you're not Dr. Kashi. And so, of course, like, it's not going to sound as good from you. And if I'm going to try and listen to that, I'm listening to Dr. K. And so it's like, we have to know what we are experts in. Like, I'm only a little bit talking about investment stuff now, but for the vast majority of the stuff I talk about sales, I talk about acquisition, and it's because we built it for 6 different companies and we've exited 6 different companies. You know what I mean? In the last, 10 years, right? And different types of companies. Right? Software, we've exited brick and mortar, we've done service business, like we've done different types of things. And so I can speak about that with authority and people know that. And then I have a story to back that up. When you just talk about content, no one cares. And so tie it to stuff that you actually know. And one of my last rules of content is, if you don't have anything worth saying, don't say it. and I know this is probably a little contrary to other people's stuff, but I don't really give a shit. Like, if it's not worth saying, don't say it. Because in my opinion, I'd rather have someone not consume shit from me than consume something and then decide to never listen to me ever again because it was a waste of their time. That's my content drop. So that piece that I just said, that probably was a piece of content that we could probably clip later. Right? All right, that helped?
Very much so. Thank you guys so much. Fire.
And if you have specific, and this is a side note for tactics, right? If you have a handful of specific beliefs that people are trying to overcome, rather than necessarily addressing the belief, you can make it relevant by saying, hey, if you're struggling with this, my client Karen, and then all of a sudden you have domain authority because you're now introducing a real story rather than just saying, here's how you overcome overeating. It's like, no, I have 2 clients. I'll just use Sarah and Kate as the names, but these are real clients that are on my roster right now. And this is the issue they were struggling with. This is how we dealt with it. And I'm going to say one more piece on this content thing, because I think it's also, like, I've learned a lot of things over this, is that you don't want to make declarative statements. You want to say, this is the way it is, because it's very easy to contradict that. Instead, it's, this is my 2 cents. This is how I see the world and what I have experienced. I might not know shit, but I'm sharing what has been valuable to me and my clients. And when you say it from that perspective, 1, the intention is pure, and 2, no one can fuck with you on that, because you're not saying this is fact. You're saying this is how I see it. And if things change, I'll tell you how I think they've changed.
That's really dope. And it's also super unique because, like, it's your experience, right? So it has to be wildly different than everyone else's, or at least somewhat.
Yeah. Step 1, do stuff. And then step 2, talk about the stuff you did, right? The problem is that people start talking about stuff they haven't done. And then that's where they get in trouble, because all they do is they read someone else's article on passive income, and then they do a worse diluted version with less authority.